Well, welcome back to another exciting Leading Ladies podcast episode. So excited to be brought to you at Walsh College in our beautiful creator studio. I'm Suzy Siegle, and I have the privilege of being joined by TeQuion Brookins, who is a double Walsh College alum. TeQuion, you have your MBA and your Master's of Science in Finance from Walsh College, and we learned that both of your parents are Walsh College alums, so it's a Walsh College family.
Yes.
Welcome, and thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, TeQuion, you have such an amazing background in business, entrepreneurship, nonprofit, leadership. Tell us a little bit about your background and your journey, and then we'll get into some of the exciting work that you're doing today.
Yeah, so again, I came to Walsh after seeing both of my parents come and really got interested in the business world after I graduated from my undergrad, because I had focused on STEM for undergrad and really didn't understand how the business world works. And so I knew that understanding that would be important as a leader. And so at the time I was working at the Flagstar headquarters in Troy, and I said, we're not too far from Walsh. Let me go and sign up, and I can still make money during the day and then go get my degree at night. And so I decided to do that, which opened up so many doors for me. I actually landed a job at McGregor Fund, which introduced me to philanthropy because of my connection to Walsh, which you'll be excited to hear. My boss, the hiring manager, actually was enrolled in the dual MBA and program as well. So Walsh all around.
It's Walsh all around.
Yes.
I love that. Well, I love how you said, too, that you were able to work during the day, attend school in the evenings, and now with our classes being online, hybrid, remote, students are saying the same thing. It's just so flexible, and we know that. We're built around the working professional. And then I loved how you said that it opened doors, and we've heard that as well, that as soon as you jump in to get your degree at Walsh, so many doors open up so quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, because my boss at the time was here, she understood like the program rigor. And even though I didn't have the traditional background of the position that I was applying for, she said, you're smart and you're at Walsh, you'll get it. I can teach you all the other things. Let's just do this thing. And it was history. I took that job and that opportunity, and I ran with it.
Oh my goodness, TeQuion, I love that. But I mean, you did take it and you ran with it. So I want to affirm you for that. I love hearing that about Walsh, but it was also your hard work and your vision that brought you to that. So congratulations. That's a great background. Okay. Well, tell us a little more then.
Yeah. So while I was at McGregor Fund, I really became impassioned to learn more about philanthropy as a sector, because it was my first time really understanding, the nonprofit space is not just where you go to volunteer. There are actual careers in this industry. And so really learning about, some of the discrepancies there are with, the lack of diversity in most industries, but also the nonprofit sector, especially in leadership. I really wanted to do something to change that. And so after I learned as much as I could, and I'm still learning about the sector, I decided to start my own public foundation to teach other Black and brown people about the sector and to really build a pipeline of Black and brown talent in philanthropy, and also just got really, really involved in community and just took it to new heights and decided, I can do this full time.
Yes. So you started your own, and I love how you use the term philanthrepreneur. I think that's incredible. I love that so much. So you actually started your own nonprofit, your own organization to help increase diversity in the nonprofit sector. I love that. I mean, you're filling a niche and a need that is so vital.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the philanthrepreneur term comes from the thinking that everything that I do as an entrepreneur is rooted in philanthropy. Sometimes a little bit too much when we think about like the pricing and how the business hat comes on when I'm like, okay, maybe I do need to at least make sure I'm covering costs.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Well, you said something very interesting there I want to highlight for our listeners, which is even though you're working at a nonprofit and there's philanthropy involved, you still bring your business skills, your business acumen to the table, because without a margin, there is no mission. And I think that's something a lot of nonprofits really appreciate, because we can sometimes think, it's a nonprofit, you don't have to make money. And we know this very well at Walsh, which is without a margin, there's no mission, and we take our mission very seriously. So that is just such a great compliment to your background in nonprofit, having that business education. Can you tell us, are you able to see, or did you see how you were using your education at Walsh in your workplace right away?
Well, quite frankly, the position that I had, and I love that there is no mission without margin. I'm getting that on a T-shirt. Just
good. Yeah. No, I don't think I coined that.
I'm searching USBC.
Okay.
I want to look for that. But no, so I think that when I was in the role, I was a finance associate was the role. And of course, no finance background. Actually didn't even have a strong interest in finance at the time. But I'm like, I need to know this stuff.
Good.
And so literally everything that I was learning in my investment management classes and all of that, I was literally doing at work. And it was helping me. I went from like dozing off when they were talking about finances and private investments and returns because I had no idea what they were saying to like really engaged and reading materials and like asking questions and generating reports that was really helpful for my career and helping me to advance and be promoted. So yes, it definitely made a huge difference. And then even now as an entrepreneur, because to your point, a lot of folks think about nonprofits as, oh, they're not a business, but they really are a business. And so I do a lot of work with helping organizations and nonprofits think about how to incorporate enterprising activities to help support their and sustain their missions.
I love the enterprising activities. I think about some of the churches who, like during COVID, let's say, when they didn't get a lot of congregations attending, they would do fish fries during Lent or chicken dinners, and they found other enterprising activities to keep the fundraising going. And I just love your heart on that. You said a couple things, too, that I think are really key. Number one is you talk about the nonprofit, the heart of serving, right? Like, in other words, when we generate, money is an echo of value. That's from The Go-Giver. One of the best books I ever love is The Go-Giver. And he talks about money as an echo of value and that real money and success come when we're in service to others. At the same time, because it is an echo of value, being able to make sure that you're managing the money so that you have the mission going forward is so key. And so your background in business and nonprofit, I mean, what a great niche to have and what a great tool to be able to bring that financial acumen to bear. So I want to just commend you on that and say that I think that's so important because and you can just tell, like, you're so activated and engaged in what you're doing. It's like you're connected to the core calling of you, not just to the business and the job, which I think there's a lot of employees that are feeling that, like I want to be more connected and more engaged. And, what would you say is important for that? Like, how do you see it as, does a professional need? What does a business person need, whether they're in the profit or nonprofit sector, to really feel connected to the mission of their organization?
That's a really great question. Everything that I do, like you said, is mission-driven, mission work. And most of the clients that I have, I would say 99.9% of the clients I have are aligned in that. And I think it takes some self-reflection to look at what are your core values, and then making sure that when you are, starting a business or applying for a job, you're really thinking about not just like what are the day-to-day functions, because that will shift, that will change, that will not always be fun, but really looking at the mission and the impact and the trajectory even of the organization that you're creating or working for, and seeing if there's personal alignment and things that can help you grow as an individual as well in that. So I would say personal alignment is how you do it.
Yeah, that was a great answer. And you're totally correct, because that helps you develop your criteria and values so that even though the data, because a lot of times people say, well, how was your day? Well, I didn't like what I had to do today. Well, sure, we all have some paperwork and administrative tasks, but if the mission is there, that's so important. How did you handle adversity? I mean, if you were willing to share, what challenges might you have had through your career, and how did you handle that, and what words of wisdom would you give to folks that might be facing those?
Adversity is a daily thing. And so for me, I am very conscious about staying true to, again, my values and making sure that all of the decisions that I make are made with integrity, and that I am not sacrificing something that's core and central to me. And so I think that is really important. And adversity comes in a lot of different shapes and sizes. Sometimes it's someone on your team, if you're in a leadership position and really trying to figure out how can I use this as a teachable moment and not take it personal. So that's something that happens more often than leaders would like, but it's just an opportunity for you to grow as a leader and to figure out how can I use this moment to better not only myself as a leader but this person that's having this experience. So I lead with compassion and also put myself in other people's shoes and understand what are the traumas and the backstory of this person and why they might be engaging in this way. And it helps me have more compassion when I react and respond to whatever the issue is. But yes, the issues come.
Oh, TeQuion, that is so good, though, when you said, that's empathy, right? Putting yourself in the other person's shoes and trying to understand it from their perspective. And many times we kind of flip it and think, this must be what they're thinking. This must be why they're doing this. And we kind of miss that step. So I'm glad you highlighted that. The way you said that was really core. Who has influenced your leadership along the way? Do you have mentors? Do you have advisors? Do you have any influencers? Anyone that you'd say you look up to, an author, a speaker that has really influenced your focus on servant leadership and really philanthropic leadership?
I am really, one of the things I love about the sector that I'm in is that I am engrossed daily by people that are just so inspirational, people I look up to. I have such a strong tribe around me daily that have poured into me. I talked a little bit about my hiring manager at the McGregor Fund, which was my introduction to philanthropy, and the way that woman poured into me, also a Walsh grad. And
also a Walsh grad. I love it. Yeah, you're seeing a theme here.
Yeah, yes. And then just all of the networks that I have been in and the women that I just, through my professional networks, run into and build and create relationship with. It has been just an amazing, I could not imagine doing this journey, which gets tough and gets lonely when you're, a visionary and you're trying to do all the things and you can't make time all the time for the social things. But knowing that you have people that you can rely on and lean on and get inspired from and have a pep talk, and whenever you're getting that sense of doubt or that sense of am I imposter syndrome, they stump that right out.
They stump that right out.
I'm not allowed to even think those thoughts.
Yeah.
So that helps a lot. And of course, my mom, she was always inspiration to me because she did so much, right? Like, I am single, I don't have a kid, I don't have a husband, but my mom was like killing motherhood, being a wife, going to school, killing it in her career, breaking barriers herself, and just watching how she did it with such grace and just her demeanor and her disposition was always like my guiding star. Still trying to get there because I'm not as graceful as my mom, but yeah.
But she set a great model, a great, a great bar, a great standard. Okay, so something you said I really wanted to highlight, which is, you surround yourself by a network of high performers, folks that pour into you, and I love that term, pouring in, because it really shows why we're on this earth, right? To really help and amplify others. But I want to commend you on that, because there are some folks that might see networking or developing professional advisors as an inconvenience, or don't tell me what to do, they're not like me, they don't know. You don't see it that way.
No.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I consider myself an introvert, even though I'm like always talking and not shy or anything like that, but still need to be alone to recharge. So introverted for sure. But when I think about networking, and I had this conversation, we've created a actual group. I call it the Boss Ladies Chat. So every morning at 7 a.m.
I love this.
Like this conference call and we talk. I haven't done it in a while because I've been sick and trying to preserve my voice, but definitely we talked about this whole concept of networking, because a lot of people just like, there's so many, there's toxic networking, right? There's people that do it just to get something. And I went to a women's conference with my mom a few years ago, and one of the sessions I was in, they were teaching you how to be a networker and how to do that in a way that feels true to you. And one of the things that I do is when I go to a space, I'm thinking about all of the resources, the connections, the conversations that I've had, and how I can help someone that is there connect to those resources and vice versa. So I don't lead with who are you and what are you do. I'm what are you working on that you're excited about, right? And a lot of times you find out just so many amazing things, and that's another thing that you can put in your bucket for the next conversation that you have with someone. So really being a relationship broker in that way.
My goodness, that's the first I've heard of that, and I love this. I mean, the way you just said that when you go to events, you're not even looking at what you can get out of it. I love the term toxic networking, because I think everybody kind of has their own opinion of those, or those morning breakfasts where people show up and it's like the card exchange, right? And then you say you go to see how can you be a connector for others? How can you provide others an opportunity to develop their network, to develop their group, to develop their, the Boss Lady Chat? I love that. I mean, isn't it just so great? Our leadership team, we have a little chat on text that we communicate with, a lot of times just from logistics, but I sent them something this morning that was in a Forbes article on leadership, and I said, this is what my dream is for all of of you is that, it talked about feeling activated at your work and that you're connected to a mission bigger than yourself, because you spoke into that so well. The day-to-day grind many times is going to be challenging. It's choose your hard, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to work. It's hard not to. It's hard not to be invested. But I love that you look at yourself as a networker, as a connector of others, and how to help and support others and see what their big next thing is. But speaking of big next thing, tell us a little bit about some of the exciting things you have on the horizon that relate to a big event that's happening into Detroit, which is the NFL draft. I know you can't go anywhere without hearing about that, but share with us a little bit about where you've been on this and what success you're seeing.
Yeah, so the draft is an amazing opportunity for the business sector in Detroit, in Metro Detroit. And so I have been involved in, or am involved in, a couple of projects. So there is a venture that I just launched called City Mimosa, which will be a brunch house, an event space and meeting space and membership hub in the Eastern Market area. And my partner is an amazing creative, an amazing chef. She's actually been hired to do all of the catering for the NFL for the whole week that they're here.
Wow.
So I have been assisting her as an operations manager, which led to us, getting, and this is, I think, a little confidential, but it'll be out. So,
oh boy, here we go. Yeah,
there's an article that the New York Times is going to do. So we just did a photo shoot on Monday or Tuesday for that. So that's been very exciting. And then another friend of mine has tapped me because of my event production expertise. Joking. She's tapped me to help plan a watch party and after party for 2 of the first round draft picks. Nice. So that's another exciting thing that I've been working on. And then my clients, right? My clients have been tapped to participate, and so just supporting them and getting their, websites up to date with new merchandise that they can sell and promote while they're there and all those things. So lots of things happening with the draft, but
TeQuion, I love them. Motor City Mimosas. I mean, what a great name for something like that. That's wonderful. But that just shows when you're networking and you're with the right people in the right rooms, those right opportunities happen. And this is a big opportunity. I mean, this could be incredible. So tell us a little bit about how clients can connect with you. If somebody's listening and says, boy, I really want to work with TeQuion, I think she can help me in my business, with my website, with my marketing, with my promotion. Tell a little bit about what you'll do for them and how they can connect with you.
Yes. So my name is, very unique. So if you type in TeQuion Brookins, everything you need to contact me will come right up. But TeQuionBrookins.com is the best way to get in contact with me. And the types of things that I like to support are things that people are really passionate about and are ready to do. So a lot of folks come to me and they're not always ready to act. And when you come to me, you're going to get a plan of action and we're going to implement, right? So I want to make sure that folks know that if you do come in my inbox, you got to be ready, because I'm going to give you what you need. And I really want to help people that are trying to do good things do them, right?
Yeah.
So anything from HR consulting to trying to get just your infrastructure together. I do fund development, but from a strategic standpoint. So just a lot of different ways to help folks that are trying to do some mission-driven work.
Well, and I like how you said you're ready to help them take action. So that already qualifies the folks reaching out to you. And, with your degrees, your MBA and your MSF, you can help folks with a broad range of business needs. You have that specific training, which is great from a consulting standpoint, a coaching standpoint. But we'll definitely put a link to your website as well so that folks can connect with you and reach out. Because, this is exciting things. You're a lady on the move. You're a leading lady, and we want to highlight that. And thank you for being a Walsh alum. I always say our mission is fulfilled in the world when our alumni are living it in the world. So to see you out there making such a positive impact and having the heart to do it, right? Having that heart for service. I always think, when I came to Walsh, I felt like I grew a whole new heart for work, for the campus, for the college, and you just feel so invested. And it's so evident. You can hear that in what you do and for your clients. And if I'm a client out there, I'm thinking, I want to work with TeQuion because she has that passion for her work, which means she is going to have it for my job as well in my business. So what's next on the horizon? Where would you say your next leap and go? I'm thinking you would be incredible, by the way, in our Doctorate of Business program, which was ranked #1 by Forbes. I can see Dr. Brookins, but anyway, that's a separate conversation. conversation, but what's next for you?
Well, actually, so.
Oh, my goodness. You heard it here first.
It's so funny. So I am definitely interested in the doctoral program. Not right now, though.
Okay.
So I'm trying to get all of the things in place and all of the staffing that I need so that by next year that could be something, because I got a lot of people on my shoulders saying, Dr. Brookins is calling you.
In our program, in fact, I teach a class called High Performance Leadership. The class ends with them either giving a TED Talk, which they can do in here, an 11-minute TED Talk, which is a leadership contribution, or they write a leadership mini book that is publishable on Amazon. And I share that because I just feel like that would be your class. You'd come in and rock that. You'd be like, I'm doing both. And I've got some students that say, like, I might want to do both, because they see now the power of being connected to your calling, your core calling for leadership. So I just felt like that was just the next step for you. But yeah, absolutely. But I love how you said, I want to get my organization and team set up so I can make the space to do this, because I can tell you're an action-oriented person and you want to execute, and that's wonderful. So how can we support and help you at Walsh? I mean, this having you on here has been great, and we'll definitely make sure folks connect with you. But if there's anything we can do at Walsh, definitely reach out. If there's anything you want to do with speaking to our students and career, you've just given us so much great advice. So anything that you can think of that you want to share.
Yeah, I would love to see some more intentional partnership and natural collisions around entrepreneurship and creating more of a pipeline of leaders. So once they graduate, or even while they're in their programs, if they want some real life hands-on experience.
Oh my goodness!
There's no shortage of work.
There's no shortage of work. Wait, TeQuion, I know that the folks listening are probably thinking this couldn't have been teed up any better, but we didn't talk about this ahead of time. We're about a week or two, maybe 3 away from announcing some updates to our CIE, the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship here at Walsh College, and we're really excited to be able to offer those to businesses, to our students, to entrepreneurs, because I agree that there is kind of a shortage of coaching and funding for them as well. Everyone's looking for funding, but we want to really be able to help. So many of our students are entrepreneurs. In fact, our founder, Mervyn Walsh, was the accountant for Thomas Edison. He worked at the Thomas Edison Light Company as Thomas Edison's accountant, and so he worked with one of the best innovators and entrepreneurs in the world. I know, you get chills, right? And it's just so incredible to see how things come full circle. So we are on it. I'm so grateful that you said that, because I feel like that just connects naturally with our history and now our future and our destiny, and we'll involve you for as much as we can. So you'll have some incredible things to share, which is great. Well, again, thank you so very much to TeQuion Brookins for coming on the Leading Ladies podcast. That wraps up another incredible series, and we will see you soon with another Leading Lady. Thank you so much for joining.